Hello, welcome to my presentation. I want to get started by saying thank you for picking mine to look at. I pretty much had a really rushed week. Haven't really gotten a chance to be home too much, so I'm also forced to do this through YouTube once again. Let's start this presentation by opening up my PowerPoint called Ross Project 2 PowerPoint. If you will open it, you will see that just like my paper, it is titled Violence in Video Games. If you go to the second slide, it'll be a very short slide, and this will pretty much, I'll go over this. Pretty much, violence in video games has been going on for a very long time. One of the most early ones is Mortal Kombat, but it's been going on for a long time, a very long time. As of this day, it's still going on. There are multiple sides of this issue. There are people who don't want violent games around. There are people who don't know what they would do without violent games, and then there's people who are kind of just neutral about it. Um, Again, it really all depends on player habits. You can't really predict what someone will do when they play a violent video game, but at the same time, you can't blame the game itself. If you continue to the next slide, you'll see a picture on the side of Mortal Kombat 2. And like I said before, Mortal Kombat 2 is one of the most known games simply because the characters weren't drawn. They didn't look fake. Things at the time, it was one of the most realistic looking games simply because they used digitized actors as opposed to drawing all the characters out. So this would mean realistic looking characters having their body parts burnt, their bones being eaten alive and spit out, things along the lines of people being turned into a crisp, electrocuted, punched into spikes, all kinds of things that a lot of parents weren't too happy about. Um, and this is why essentially the ESRB was created. If you go to the next panel, you will see over to the right there is all of the ESRB ratings. These are pretty much made to help parents. They're all based off the content of the game. Pretty much some games actually require you to have an ID. Generally, games that are mature and higher require you to have an ID in order to prove that you're of the appropriate age. Most parents actually don't know about the ESRB. Over the more recent years, parents have indeed been more informed. In fact, most retailers have their employees inform parents before they buy a game that is, for example, a M-rated game for a child that is with them that appears to be under the age of 17. They will inform the parent exactly what the ESRB is there for and what exactly they're buying and what exactly to look for. I have seen an example of this myself where I was in GameStop and a woman was with her son and they wanted to buy, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was either Assassin's Creed or something along those lines, which is an M-rated game. The child appeared to be no older than about 13 years old at the most. After the man told her about the SRB rating, she did not let the child buy the game anymore. It was as simple as that. A bit more information about the ESRB. If you look over on the right, the first one, early childhood, is for people that are of ages about 3 and up. Everyone is essentially a year later, so everyone that's about 4 or 5 and older. E plus 10 means everyone plus 10, as you can see, which is self-explanatory. It's meant for everyone that is of the age of 10 and higher. Teen is from that first age where you have the teen on your name, so 13 and older. Mature, as it says, 17 plus for all those are 18 and older. Adults only, which are for legal adults only, ages 18 and up. For example, you need to be 18 to smoke cigarettes, things like that. So essentially, that's another thing that you can do once you hit 18 is buy AO only games. Rating pending are is only there when a game is not completed. Thus, the content of the game has not been rated, so it does not have an appropriate rating yet. Kids to adults is one you don't see as often. It essentially means either the game has content for that range of ages, which means something for children all the way up to adults, or it just means that the game is suitable for all ages. And for example, an early childhood game might not be so amusing to a 21-year-old man. If you continue to the next slide, you will see the next pressing matter, which is nudity in video games. Just like with movies, this was a similar issue in movies. There'd be nudity in movies, and parents would get very upset. They would make phone calls, they would try to sue, they would do all kinds of things. Most parents, again, did not realize that most games that have nudity in them are either rated M or rated AO, which stands for adult only, as stated before. This simply caused the problem of parents being uninformed and their children buying these games because they either heard their friends talking about it or something like that. Some people simply don't want nudity in any video games, regardless of the ESRB rating. A great example of this would be Grand Theft Auto, one of the more known series to be causing violence in video games. There have been plenty of people who have tried to shut down Grand Theft Auto simply because they said that a student or a child did a similar action based off playing this game. In Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, there was a mission that they were originally going to put in the game called Hot Coffee. In this incident, Hot Coffee, you would go into your current girlfriend's house and actually have, well, simply put, you would simply go in and have sex with the girlfriend. Um, this caused a lot of problems. Now, the thing is, they were originally going to put this in the game and make the game AO. The developers decided not to put the program in and simply kept the game rated M. The problem was, they didn't erase the programming, they simply made it inaccessible. So, hackers, after a while of hacking the game, found this mission and released it to the public. A large amount of the public was not so happy about this. They were very upset. They thought the game should have been removed off the shelf. They thought it should have been kept off the shelf. Some people said you can put it back on the shelf if you make the rating AO. Then there were the people that were similar to my side of the situation, saying that this programming was meant to be inaccessible. Only hackers would be able to access it, and that the general public would not be able to see it. So essentially, unless you were a computer hacker, which generally most people that are 18 and older are, you would not be able to see this material, thus meaning the game did not have to be removed from the shelves. Um, I got most of my information from the ESRB website, as well as various websites that talk about these past incidents, examples of being Hot Coffee and the Mortal Kombat incident. Um, I guess pretty much that's all I have to say for now. Um, like I said, I'm sorry about the quality of this report. I was a little rushed for time, and thank you. Please give me a nice peer review, and that should be the final slide of my report. Thank you, and goodbye.